Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love, and today I have the honor and I'm very excited to share a beautiful sacred conversation with my soul sister Jessica Falcon, and I want to welcome you everyone tuning in, and I want to welcome you, Jessica, for sharing this sacred conversation with us. So welcome.
Thank you. It's such an honor and pleasure to be here having a conversation today with you, Kim.
It is really, yes, and it's beautiful to witness the transformations we are all going through, and also in this time and space, a lot of energies are being stirred up and a lot of activations are happening, and that can be challenging and it can be sometimes also painful and a lot of emotions coming up. And today I really wanted to talk with you and Jessica, because we're both passionate about it, more about the divine feminine way and really what this time is inviting us to do, to feel more, to experience more, and to deepen within ourselves. And I think you're a beautiful example of that, and also the teachings you bring forward into the world to really step into this divine feminine space. And maybe you can share a little bit about what it sparks for you and how it supported you on your journey of where you are today.
Yeah, I'd love to, because the divine feminine, I think, is very misunderstood.
Yes.
By so many people, especially the way it's portrayed, say, on social media, as these, just these flowing gowns, and that's the divine feminine. And the reality is that the divine feminine is a force.
Mm-hmm.
The divine feminine is our body. It is the earth. It is life itself. It is our capacity to be here now, to be present, to be our divine self in our physical form, right? And the divine feminine was denied, suppressed, and oppressed when we no longer recognize spirit and matter, when we no longer recognized our soul and our body, when we shifted out of the consciousness of heaven on earth into separation consciousness. And so as we are navigating these powerful shifts and transformations, it is asking us to remember union, to remember that we are divine, not just when we go up out there into space or heaven or however you want to call it, not just when we leave this planet, but we are divine right here, right now. And we access that in our bodies. And then we shift our consciousness to literally create our own heavenly reality.
Yeah, I love that. You pronounce it so very clearly. And it is, because really it is inviting us to embrace this divine feminine part, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. We have both within us, this union. And from this union, it supports us to feel and to deepen and to truly anchor here on earth. And when we feel anchored, we can also receive the support from the higher dimensions, from the earth, to feel confident in whatever is coming on our path. And it's really, I love, as you shared as well, it's like it's embracing every part of our being. And it's not only in the higher dimensions. No, we are being invited to claim it here on earth, to anchor it, to be it, and allow these soft energies to embrace us. Because for me, but the next phase is really asking us also to have the softness. But I think the misconception is like softness is, it's weak. No, there's power, there's force in this space of just being with all the elements of your being, just anchoring all these different layers and embracing yourself with love and kindness and softness, but also the fierceness of, yes, I am ready to witness every part of who we are instead of denying. I think that's also, again, the separation. Then it's coming back in union, but that also means us being willing to embrace our emotions and being willing to say yes to the pains and the wounds. And that's so, the divine feminine is really the softness in it. It's no longer, I think this next phase, and I don't know how it's for you, but it's no longer denying. It's really embracing and just riding the waves, because they are coming, and we can push them away and we can neglect them. No, but it's just centering and allowing all the elements of us to support. And yeah, I think the divine feminine is an important step in that, embracing that part again and remembering that essential energy. Yeah,
exactly. Because what is softness?
Yes.
Imagine, like all the listeners, what is softness to you? And feel that softness in your body, right? Like, what does softness feel like? For me, it feels like flow.
Yeah.
For me, softness is opening, it's allowing, it's receiving. And it's receiving the infinite wisdom that is in the now, that is in our body, that is in our soul, that is in our present moment. And so whatever experience we're having, as you so wonderfully teach as well, is happening for us. And so when we can stop resisting what we see and instead soften and open to the experience, that is the only way we can transform it and choose differently. Yeah. And if we're resisting it, and because we don't like it, because we don't want to feel angry or upset or sad or even resistant, when I feel any resistance in my body, I'm like, okay, show me where the resistance is. Yes. What are you? And what are you resisting? And underneath resistance is fear. Yeah. And I think so many people, and this is not the fault of any one person, this is our societal conditioning and programming. So many people are afraid to feel. Yeah. Because when we feel, we're so afraid that it's going to overtake us, that we're going to become subject to it, that we're going to die in the black hole of grief. I remember thinking that at one point. Yes. Yeah. Or that the anger is going to become so uncontrollable, we're going to rage and rage and rage forever. Well, the reality is that emotion is energy, emotion, unless we block it. Now, we first have to develop the consciousness through meditation, through practices. I prefer embodied meditations, but through that ability to observe, so that we can watch the emotion, become curious about the emotion, rather than identifying with it, rather than letting it become us. We witness it, we allow it, we learn from it, we receive it. But see how all of that requires softening?
It is softening and love. And because it truly is like, but even like when we grow up, a lot of us, we have been learned to not be too much, not be too excited, too joyful, to not cry, to not. So we have so been taught to not feel these emotions. And now we are rediscovering our essential being, because there's wisdom within our emotions, but we haven't been taught that. There are profound knowledge, like there's so much there when we are willing to look through the lens of love and compassion and softness. But it's, again, if you would see these wounded parts like a child, you wouldn't push a child away that's crying. No, you would hold it with love. And why not hold yourself in these moments? And it creates flow, because I think that's also an important, it truly is. Are we willing to ride the waves of change because we know we're meant for something bigger? Or do we want to hold on and control everything that is happening and keep ourselves in boxes and limiting beliefs and old patterns? But it's really a journey of braveness. And I think when we truly allow our divine feminine flow in, it's also saying yes to something we have not experienced yet, because it's saying yes to the new. It's saying yes to this exciting knowing in your heart and embracing our emotions. And also, I think it's beautiful, as you share, be angry for a while, be sad, allow yourself, because by us for so many eons suppressing our emotions, it has built up so much momentum, and now it just wants to be seen and acknowledged and expressed. But in that, so much flow comes in, and suddenly you get to co-create with all the elements instead of only one part that is the mind, or it's really a deepening into ourselves. But it's not always an easy journey, and both of you, it's really with love we get to witness these parts, and with compassion and with softness. And then it's almost like before, if you would see it like a flower, always made like we would press it together, but now we are allowing this flower to grow and then open up, and then suddenly you discover magical things of yourself that you didn't thought was possible, or suddenly synchronicities happen, or beautiful things. But it's allowing the universe to co-create with us, because I think also in this time and space we are all together co-creating something new, something we have not created before. And that's being willing, being open to the magic, the infinite magic of the universe to bless us in beautiful ways. But it's also inviting us to be compassionate with the parts of ourselves that are still blocking. And I think for me, just as you shared, each time resistance comes up, or I'm like this love warrior, and I go on and see what is, because I know it's growth. It is because I'm willing to grow. These layers of myself are ready to be harmonized. And so when you can shift it from, okay, I'm doing something wrong. No, you're choosing something new, and that's why it's coming up. And it's an invitation for you to come even more into the wholeness and remember the essential part. And I think that's a beautiful, to know we have a choice and to not be afraid. Because in essence, I think, I don't know how that's for you, but we have so been taught to be afraid for ourselves. But why? This and why would we be afraid of this essential part of who we are? And already so much energy is coming through behind these words as well. So it's sometimes I feel there's a lot of download coming in energy through this conversation. So sometimes it's hard to find the words, but it's really it's an empowering journey of beauty and love and embracing and becoming who we always were meant to be. Yeah.
And we were taught to mistrust these bodies.
Yes.
We were taught to mistrust life. We were taught to mistrust our feelings. In fact, we've been conditioned to believe that the body is corrupt, outside of God, that it's evil, that if we trust the body, right, we're evil. And the feminine has been deemed evil and demonic. And we can't pretend, right, that we don't have that programming. We don't have that conditioning. We have to look at it. We have to feel that rage. We have to feel that anger, not to stay in it, not to blame, not to point the finger. But if we don't feel it, like I know myself, I had to go through a real purifying of my heart toward the masculine, because I was carrying lifetimes of wounded anger and hatred at being killed, at being vilified, at being labeled evil for being a powerful feminine priestess for so many lifetimes, and for worshiping the earth and the goddess as holy, as sacred, not as above me, not as above God, but as holy and sacred because she is. And so I had to really purify the ways in which I allowed the consciousness of others to infiltrate me, to then go down to that level of separation. If we want to come into union and to unity consciousness, it requires us to look at the ways we separate ourselves from others. We separate ourselves from our own love. We separate ourselves because we actually point the finger and give power to someone outside of us, thinking that they can determine how we feel, that they can determine who we are, that they can determine our experience. The reality is that even though I was carrying around this rage, this anger, this hatred, the truth underneath that is I let them decide for me who I was. I forgot the love I am. The love I am. The essence of who I am is love. I negated that to go outside in hatred. Now, we will all at some point on our journey have to purify the ways we do that to come into the higher level of consciousness. What is the goddess? Love. We have to do that to come into love. And here's where I see so many people getting it I don't want to say wrong, because there's no right and wrong. We're all on our own path. We're all initiating, but misunderstood is that we really cannot come into union with the divine without first coming into union with ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if we think we are separate from that, we are keeping ourselves in separation.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
And that life force energy that is our birthright, that is that full flow of who we are, only activates when we allow what is to be, to feel, to let the life force energy move. So if you want to feel more alive, if you want to feel more embodied, if you want to feel more love, if you want to feel more light and joy and enthusiasm and passion, you have to let life force energy move in and through you, which is everything. Let life be life. Stop trying to control it. Believe me, I had a hard time letting go of that. I really wanted to control life because it was scary to be here in a body. It was scary to be here. And I'm going to just share a little bit about an experience you already know. So I did the Flower of Love embodiment journey with Kim, which was amazing. Little plug-in. She's so beautiful at holding space, and the activations just sung to my soul so deeply, because we all always need support. We all always need people around us to lift us into even higher vibrations. We all need that. And I had a really beautiful experience. And one of the main things that I experienced was unconsciously, I do soul embodiment work. I'm an international soul embodiment guide. I've been working on that in myself for 10 plus years now. And I got to a taproot because I was held in that container. I got to a taproot of realizing how much fear I was still holding inside unconsciously in my nervous system to anchor my light of my divinity here in form. Because we have to move through that fear to be able to anchor our light, to be able to be embodied, to feel the divine feminine here and now.
It truly is. Yeah. And it is, I love, there are so many gems in what you just shared, but it truly is like we have blind spots, or we have fears that are so deeply rooted from sometimes even past lifetimes or different dimensions. So wherever you are in your journey, we're all always students of life. We're always deepening within ourselves. And it's so nice to have someone, also for me, to have someone to just stand beside you when you're feeling this fear coming up and saying, okay, I don't know if I'm ready to dive to this root, to this essential energy, because it's so painful. And then someone else holding space and saying, yes, but it's time and you can do it. To just, because we have also in our systems, we have like booby traps, or we have systems that just activate when we try to reach that. And then it's beautiful. Yeah. And it's so amazing to see you in that embodied state, because I loved also what you shared. Like, it's almost, yes, we want this life force energy, this passion, this sensuality running through our body, but we don't want the pain. We don't want the rage. We don't want the anger. No, we only want the beautiful things of our life force energy. But our life force energy means allowing every part of us to be expressed and to be too much. And it's almost like, yes, you want this water tap fully open, but you're controlling it. No, this part I'm not allowing. And it's really saying yes, but then it's coming back to love. Because true love, true unconditional love, the divine love, feeling that in ourselves, in our body, we can allow this tap to fully open. We can be with all these parts. And it's not like, sometimes it's also, we can say like, what am I doing wrong? But you're not doing something wrong. It's being in and that's what I loved in your story as well. It's being in the flow of life. Because when we can say yes to life, we can allow, we're not afraid to feel. We're not afraid for our shadows. We're not afraid because we know we are supported, and we know it's just an energy that wants to move through us instead of holding it. Because I know also from my own journey, by holding all these things in control, it can make you ill, and it can make you, it's like your body gets stuck. And it's a whole journey to untangle that. And it's a whole journey to come into this place where you fully can say yes. Because a lot of us as well, we want to stand in our power, in our mission, in our truth. But how can we stand in our power when we don't have the connection with our gifts and tools, or when we are denying certain parts of ourselves because seen from the mind, because it's all from the mind. Our soul loves all of us. Our soul says yes to all that we are in every dimension, and loves the experiences, whatever it is. It is our mind that labels it as good or bad, or that's scary, or that's good. Like it's shifting into our heart and into our soul experience, and into, there's so much there, and really allowing that to flow and to be passionate, because that's also, we want to be joyful, but sometimes in feeling anger, in feeling your boundaries, because that is also what love does. It allows you to feel your boundaries, and then you feel the anger, like, oh no, I'm not doing this anymore, or this makes me angry. There is wisdom there, and it also creates this rocket fuel. Allow yourself to feel it, because through that you are coming into movement instead of stagnation. And there was one more gem, and there were so many in your story. What I loved at the beginning, what you shared, it's knowing we have a choice. Yes, we can have this programming. Yes, we can receive, but knowing in each and every moment when we feel that popping up, we have a choice. Do I keep repeating this, or do I choose to step into love, and with the power of love and the divine feminine, witness what is truly happening there from the soul? And there are so many powerful energies coming through, and it's just a wave of, and I don't know, for anyone tuning in, do you have like practices you do to allow your divine feminine to come in more, and to allow her to play more, and to,
Yeah. And I would love to just first really quickly close out the loop of what we were talking about around that identification piece you so clearly articulated, of when we're so afraid of feeling these things like anger because we're identifying with it. But the reality of transformation, the reality of soul embodiment, the reality of coming into the multidimensional nature that is our truth, requires us actually to witness, to identify that we're actually identifying with that thing as our truth instead of our true identity. And so as we observe these things, it's not because they have power over us unless we're giving it. It's not that they define us. It's that our letting those things define us is what's keeping us from identifying with the truth of who we are. And so that's why transformation is releasing all of these beliefs, programs, false identities, false roles, to come into the truth of who you are. And that requires first connecting to that truth. And love is the great unifier. Love is what brings all of that into union. And so if we're reclaiming the feminine as divine, which is my passion, which I know is your passion, is that it requires that we develop the capacity to love, which bridges the divine feminine and divine masculine, which are just words we made up, right? Because that's terminology, but they're energies. It's the energy of our divinity with our life. It's the energy with our body, with our soul, however we want to describe that. It's the unification of that. It's coming out of separation consciousness. And so one of the practices, I do a lot of practices at different times, because part of the feminine is also not getting so rigid and so stuck on, this is the way, this is the only way, right? So, but a huge part is every day I'm outside, I'm walking, I'm in the forest, and not just walking to walk, but to commune, to feel nature around me, to look at the sky, to invite the sun to bring its rays into my own light body and activate it, to feel the air come into me and fill me, right? Life force, breath is air coming into you, to sit near water and hear it and listen to it soothe my nervous system, to move my body. Our bodies want to move. We need to move our bodies. And so that is no matter what, I'm pretty much outside every single day walking, no matter how cold it is, even if it's raining, or dancing, and not to the beat, but just, I'll say to my body, I'll turn on some music and I'll say, move the way you want to express yourself today. Move what you need to release. Move what you need to feel. Sometimes I want to make sound. Sometimes I want to yell. Sometimes I start to cry. Sometimes I'm just in so much ecstasy and joy. And it's just letting it be, right? It's letting the body flow. And part of why we don't do so many of the feminine embodiment practices like I teach is they get really scared to make noise. They get really scared to move in a way that doesn't look pretty or that isn't conforming or that isn't to the beat. You know what? That's all ego. That's all ego. And if you're controlling your body through ego, if you're controlling your sound through ego, guess what? You're never going to get there.
No.
You're never going to get there because your ego cannot remain in control. You want to come into your divine truth, your ego cannot remain in control.
Because it's again damping your life force energy again. It's also,
You need to align it. You don't let the ego be in control. You say, guess what? My soul's in control and I'm going to bring you into alignment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. And that's such an important key as you share. And we can even see it in something simple, like you want to manifest something and you put it out there in the universe. But the divine feminine way is you connect with the essential energy and you allow the universe to bring it to you, this essence, in the most aligned way. And most of the time it looks more profound than what you thought of. But the mind tries to control. No, it needs to look like this. And if it's not happening like this, I am keeping in control. And that's the same with this. Yes, we all want to step into this divine part of ourselves, but we're still saying how it needs to look like, or how it, like, again, the attachment, the controlling, the programming, and I love what you share, being in nature, alchemy. We are creators of our reality, and it's coming back to that realization, and we can alchemize energy. So I love, as you shared, walking in the forest, you're connecting, you're alchemizing the sunlight, the water, you're consciously inviting all the elements around you to co-create with us. And it's, I think, as I heard your story, it's really allowing life to be this ceremony, to be this sacredness. And I love also in our journey how you constantly shared like the most amazing animals coming on your path, but it's being willing to be in the stillness of the moment, in the consciousness of the now, to see these messages, to see these signs and these beautiful synchronicities, and to choose which energy you want to connect with. So you consciously choosing to connect with nature instead of just walking, but being awareness in the now, and then beautiful things start to open. And it's again also with dancing and allowing our bodies to move, expression. Our soul wants to express itself and it doesn't want to be limited. Our truth wants to express itself in the most aligned, beautiful way. And that's again through dancing or toning or, so I love that. And sometimes it may feel like, okay, this embodiment, feminine embodiment practices, it's something very out there or it only happens in temples. No, and that's what I love about this beautiful example you give. It's something we can do in our daily lives, just being present and consciously connecting. And
because we are the temple.
Yes
We are the temple, and we get to enter the temple of our body. Just think about that miracle in and of itself, to enter the temple of your body with reverence.
Yes.
To enter the temple of your heart. To enter the temple of your home. Ritualizing life, as you said, make life a ceremony, because it is a ceremony. It is a miracle. We wake up every day and breathe air and feel the sun or the rain. Before you eat a meal, bless the elements, the source of the elements that are allowing you to eat. Bless your body that allows you to digest. Bless the water that gives you life, that feeds your cells. This isn't some esoteric practice we have to go create. This is how you live your life in each moment with the awareness of your soul. It is that deep embodied presence of the divine in everything you do, in every word you speak, and how you feel. There's divinity in that.
Yes. Amen. It's what it is, and as you share that, it's being the gratefulness for everything, for breathing, for the sacredness, what your body does, the food you eat, the beautiful surroundings, the sunlight, all of it. Because when you become aware, as you shared, it is the gratitude for just everything that is around us. And coming back to I think it's also inviting us to really come back to the simplicity and the safety and the knowingness within ourselves. And when we can truly see everything as sacred, everything as, it doesn't matter what happens around us, but we have all we need. And from that, beautiful things open up, because suddenly you see more beauty, more bliss, more, so it's inviting, because I think also the divine feminine for me, it's really being present in the now and allowing the inspiration of the now moment to just guide us without limitation, without whether it's expression or inspiration that comes in, or the softness of just holding ourselves. And when we can, and what I love as well as you shared, like our body being a temple. When this is your temple, you will honor your body. But somehow, when it's just our body, seen from the old paradigm, we neglect the messages of our body, we overgive, overdo, we allow people to go over our boundaries. But when you see this, when you connect to this sacred temple, in your temple space, you don't allow certain things to happen, and you will take good care. You don't allow your temple to crumble down. No, you take good care of the structures of your being. You listen to what your temple wants to share. And when we can, like, it's coming back to that sacredness. I love that you brought that in. It's the same with your house. What energies, what flow, what awareness are you allowing into your house, into your sacred space, and it's becoming aware of that. That's for me as well. Coming into love is really coming into truth, but also really honoring my boundaries to where I overstep my energy, or where others do that. And it's really, again, that sacredness of each and every moment, and feeling like the gratitude of being alive and experiencing it, whatever is happening, even in the chaos and in the trauma and in the being grateful. Yes, I can be here in this journey, contributing in my unique way, discovering who I am, allowing my life force energy to flow. And it's a choice in each and every moment. And I honor you and everyone on this path, because I know it's also not always easy, but this is the way, and we know it deep within ourselves. It's no longer neglecting who we are. It's no longer pushing away, and coming into our truth and into our essence. So,
And it's the only way to freedom. And it's the only way to sovereignty. And it's the only way to true love. I mean, that's my passion, because we can look outside all we want. We can resist life all we want. But the reality is, who and what do you think you are?
Yeah. Yes.
If you're identifying purely with the physical reality, you're lost, and you're going to keep searching, and it's never going to be enough, and you're never going to feel free. No. But if you identify and see the divine in you, wow, everything changes.
Yes. And that's a huge perception shift as well, because somehow the old program says we're free when we have the financial abundance, when we have that house, when we have that job, when we have, I don't know, but the freedom is within ourselves. And it's really coming back to this essential part of who we are, where it doesn't matter what happens around us, because the world will keep spinning. But when we are in this safe space, this safe haven, this deep connection, this gratitude of just the simplicity of life, but in the end, it's the profoundness, but but that's the true freedom. And from there, beautiful things open up, and suddenly magic happens. But it's really, and that it's really a journey where also sometime in the Egyptian, they say like the cycle of death and rebirth. And that's it also with this. It's really inviting the ego to slow down and to allow our hearts to lead us. And that can also be painful, because our ego will fight. Our ego will try to hold on to, no, it needs to look like this, or I want it to be the old because it kept me safe. It didn't fulfill me, but it kept me safe. And then it's you constantly guiding yourself. And that's the thing I think beautiful, when sometimes we have these phases in our lives where it is such a gift for someone else to walk beside us, because sometimes these ego echoes can be very profound, or these roots can be very deep. And then it's someone reminding us, no, there's something deeper behind that's ready. And when you allow yourself to witness that with love, things open up, and suddenly flow is back. And we get to dance again with life, and instead of creating these limitations. So I think that's beautiful. Thank you. If I don't know if there's one thing you want to share, like a closing suggestion or an advice or a tip, or what would it be in this now moment?
Let's see. what feels most aligned in this moment. Connect with your body every day, consciously connect with your body, because that is where your soul resides. Your body is a communication device for your soul. It is a portal to the divine within you. It is the key to sovereignty. And so if you place your hands on your heart, feel the wisdom inside of you, open to receive it. Talk to your body. Place your hands on your belly. What's here? Show me what's here. What messages do you have for me today?
Yeah.
Place your awareness on the soles of your feet. If you're having trouble speaking, on your throat, feel it. Your body is energy that is a denser form, but it's formed by energy. And so when we commune with the body, we're communing with the energy of your eternal soul, which has created the form you're in. And so every day, it is essential.
I love that. So much beauty in that. And yes, a sacred invitation to commune with your body every day and to give it a hug and connect and ask what it wants to share. As you shared, I think allow your body to become your best friend and connect just like you would do with a best friend and have a cup of tea. Or I see sometimes, they show me that in beautiful energy. So thank you for sharing. If you feel called, Jessica has beautiful, empowering work. Check out her links below this video or audio, whatever way you are tuning in. And check out her sacred work of embodied feminine, of rising into your magnificence and in beautiful ways. I want to thank you, Jessica, for this sacred conversation. And I want everyone to thank you for tuning in. And there are so many gems in this and so much energy is coming through. So allow yourself to receive not only the words, but also the vibration behind it, and maybe revisit it again, because there is a deepening spiral happening as you do. So thank you, Jessica. Delighted to share this conversation, and everyone else, have a wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next Soul Love podcast. For now, much love. Bye. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.